me with those beautiful big brown eyes and asking me a question. I knew he was my son, but I didn't recognize this kid. I didn't know his shoe size, his clothes size, his favorite food, his favorite color, or his best friend. I realized I was working 80 hours a week and failing at the one thing that I was responsible for uniquely, and that was to be his mother. And being a single mom was no excuse. I was tired of the broken boys club that required that I travel every single week and even give up some of my weekends and holidays. I knew I needed to make a change that day standing in my great room. I needed a sugar daddy. I needed something that was going to pay my bills and fund my dreams so that I could have time with my sons. When I was introduced to network marketing 2.5 years ago, I knew my sugar daddy had arrived and swept me off my feet. This company and the business model was everything I needed. I immediately recognized it as a way to build an exit from corporate America and the demanding clients that were sapping up all my time. That day in the great room changed my life forever. And now, as a network marketing professional, I no longer have to worry about my sons. I think I know more about them than they want me to know. I no longer wonder what their favorite foods are. We actually cook together. Instead of working 80 hours a week and leaving home before sunrise and coming back after sunset, I set my own schedule, working 20 to 30 hours a week, and we are more than financially set. Instead of traveling every week, I never miss the things that are important to my sons. And when I do have to travel for work, I take them with me, and together we have traveled the world. Now, there are four key things that I did to make my transition. It was presentation, duplication, social media, and leadership. And I wish I had time to talk to you today about all four. I only have time to talk to you about duplication. Now, growing a successful team and a lucrative income requires duplication. You need to identify the daily activities that are duplicatable that allow you and your team to emotionally detach yourselves from the outcome and totally embrace the work. What I want all of you to do is create a daily activity tracker that allow you and your business partners to come up with things that you can do every single day and commit to one another to doing it. I know this works. I am convinced that network marketing helped me to marry the right man. Almost 2 years ago, I married my best friend, not for what he could provide for us financially, but what he did for mine and my son's hearts. And today, my husband Chris and I work our network marketing business together, and it is truly our sugar daddy.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I've been responsible for putting people on a lot of stages across this world, and I've heard every type of talk, Karen Stinson, every type of talk, Danielle. I've heard every type of talk. I ain't ever heard a talk called the sugar daddy talk. And I'm telling you, like, if she wants to take the sugar dad, you like that, Darian, don't you? Darian's like, holler at me. No, didn't you hear the end of her story? She found her sugar daddy, but she found two sugar daddies. She connected a sugar daddy back to this profession. That's genius. She opened with one type of sugar daddy and she closed with a different type of sugar daddy. That's actually really brilliant. And people would love, like, if you can begin to actually do that and talk about that, like, that's powerful how you opened and closed it, Tamara. That was so good. And I will tell you this, I love the pieces that you talked about. They're subtle. This is what I mean. Like, it was about him spending 3 months with his mom before she was passing, but it's you only having to work 20 to 30 hours and not missing a kid's game. Like, that is what people need to hear. Matthew, they don't, like Matthew, thank you for that. They don't need to hear the cheese ball stuff. Let's be communicators that stop being, what if I could tell you about an opportunity that you could make money and lose weight? Like, if that is how you're going into things, I'm just telling you, I'm going to tell you a story about that tomorrow. But how you went into things is like, it's the desires of a person's heart. and you did an incredible, incredible job. Man, the other thing you did well is you gave people something extremely practical. Like everybody's taught it, but you gave something practical. Tamara, what are you working on this year? I didn't hear that. Everybody else talked about something they're working on this year. What are you working on this year to continue your mastery? What's that?
100% social media.
100% social media? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get, there's some type of name or wording or code in the sugar daddy something on social media. So play off of that and play big with that. Great job.
For sure. Thank you.
I loved it. I loved it, Tamara. You brought the heat this time. I thought it was really good. You're appealing right to your audience by speaking the common language. One of the hardest things for any expert to do, and by the way, you all are experts in your own area, that your own specialty, you're experts in your products, you're experts in your business opportunity, but one of the hardest things for any expert to do is to remember what words they used to use to describe the problem and the feeling before they had a solution to the problem. But you remember the words that you used. You used the word sugar daddy. You used the word broken kids, broken boys. You use the same words now that you used back then. You didn't pick up a whole brand new language. And so I love that. I also love the fact that you taught. A lot of people, when they get to that second section, the head content section, simply say the topic and say it's really important. And I thought you were going to do that. You said, I want to talk to you about duplication. Duplication is super important. And I'm like, that doesn't help anybody. We knew that. But then you gave us the goods. You gave us a simple step that anybody could do. You didn't overwhelm us with things. Now, last thing I'll say is one thing you could do to improve, and everybody here could do to improve, is limit your lists. Any lists. Lists of good things that are happening, lists of bad things that are happening, lists of qualities, characteristics, lists of benefits. Limit them to 3. A list of 2 feels incomplete. A list of 4 seems like overkill. And when you started listing about 2/3 of the way through your presentation, all the good things that are happening, it started with 3, and then you listed a 4th, and then you listed a 5th, and it turned kind of into a laundry list. Here's the funny thing. When you list 3, I'm like, I love those 3. When you list 4, I'm like, I love the first 3. And when you list 5, I'm like, I don't remember the first 3. I don't remember any of these. There's too many to remember. I'm going to watch Netflix. Okay, you got to stop at 3 because we can remember 3. We're going to love 3. So anytime anybody here has a list of bad things that happened to you when you were young, a list of good things that happened after you started in network marketing, choose the best 3. You want to know the best 3? Watch the Zoom screen and see when people are going like this. Those are your best 3.
You know what? It's interesting because actually I was connecting with you. She's like 20 to 30 hours and this and that. I could the first 3 I loved, but the only reason I said it took 20 to 30 hours is because you went with number 4 and 5. So that's interesting. Like it was unbelievable, like I told you. But the 3 things, I think that is really money. I've never heard that because we think they want to know everything. But ask yourself the question, what are the big 3 that will connect with the majority of people? So that's great insight for you. So go take that sugar daddy talk on the road, all right?
Give it up for Tamara!